Right, okay, so let's have a look what's going on. I'm just making sure that this is streaming live to everyone first before I introduce everyone, so just give me a second just to make sure. So let's have a look. Yes, it says we're live. Just make sure the sound's working. Yeah. Okay, and we're live here. So just excuse me waffling, people. So let's have a look what's going on. I'm just making sure that this is streaming live. Yeah, it's going there. They don't make it easy. Okay. Right, here we go. Welcome to the Tech for Tech's Tech Talk, episode 2, Get More Customers. This is a live show. I'm your host, Phil Griffiths. Today I have 3 co-hosts. First of all, we have Jennifer Griffiths, who is the owner of Tech for Techs. How are you doing today, Jennifer?
I'm doing great, Phil. Thank you. How is everyone today?
Well, I'm doing fine. Secondly, all the way from Ireland, we have Cormac O'Donoghue, who likes to be known as the King of Ireland. He's from Crosshaven Computers. How are you doing, Cormac?
Oh, it's all good here, Phil. It's all good. We have a bit of a storm going on, so if I vanish there, that's the reason. But it's all good here in Ireland, all good.
Well, if your hair suddenly turns out like mine and sticks up everywhere, we'll know what's happened. And last but not least, we have a newcomer on the show. His name is Bruno Matas, and he's from Morley Computer Sales and Repairs, which is just south of Leeds. How are you doing, Bruno?
Very well, very well. In contrast to Cormac, it's been a beautiful day today. So
yeah, we're not too far from yourself as well. It's been pretty nice here as well. So, right, okay. First of all, has anyone got any news, tips, stories, or anything like that? Let's start off with you, Cormac.
Since this show is about getting more customers, my tip is don't take tips. I'll try to explain that better and not leave it hanging. I heard this tip actually a while back, and it's when a customer gives you a tip. So we'll say your bill for the customer is 85 quid or 90 euro. I always try to bill to a fiver. So we'll say if it's 85, you'd say 85 instead of 90. The reason being is that a customer will usually, if you say 85, it's not trying to get money off them, but they might say, oh, there's the 90. At that stage, you turn around and say, oh no, thank you very much, but I don't take the tip. Would you mind to leave a review for me instead? So they're happy, it's a happy customer. They're surprised that you're turning down money. And you're saying, look, would you mind leaving a review for me? And they'll kind of go, oh, are you sure? Oh, no, please review it to us more. And that will encourage them to walk away and actually post a review, which we all know is gold for our business. So my tip is not to take a tip. There you go.
That's pretty good advice. I must admit, yeah, reviews are worth more than money, because obviously more reviews is more money you're going to make because more people are going to come to see you. So that's brilliant advice, that. What about yourself, Bruno? Have you got any tips or advice?
Yeah. So my tip would be a portal or social media called Nextdoor. So when I was starting to trade, I was looking for platforms where I could advertise my work, where I could put my word out there. One of the ones that I came across was Nextdoor, which is almost like a Facebook with a lot less functionalities, but is more focused on your local, so on the local areas around you, other than the whole country or whatever. So it limits you to a certain amount of miles, but lets you advertise up until a certain point for free within a certain miles, and you can even specify, I want to advertise to this town and to this town, but not to this town. And it's pretty good, and I got plenty of work from there actually. And so far, it's one of the few advertising mechanisms that I use that actually gets me some revenue and some customers in. And yeah, and then of course what Cormac already said about reviews, it's ongoing, isn't it? As we build our reviews, we get customers as well, because people look a lot for reviews. I look for reviews when I'm looking for something, so I'm expecting my customers to do exactly the same thing. So
Okay,
yeah.
that's pretty good. What about you, Jennifer? Any news, tips, advice?
I have a little news, tech news. Thermal Take has come out with a new way to apply thermal paste, and it's using a stencil. So what you do is you put your stencil on top of your processor, and then you put a gob of thermal paste in the center of that, and use the spreader that they include in the kit. Now, when you lift the stencil up, it makes a honeycomb effect. And I know what you're thinking, well, why do I need that? Well, when you sit the heat sink down on top of it, it spreads evenly. They showed it under a piece of glass, that it spreads more evenly and all of that. And I thought, this would be great if you're trying to teach an apprentice how to apply thermal paste. It's less margin for error, and he won't have to do the credit card thing that we had to do and everything. And that would be pretty good. The only downside I can see is there's going to be a lot of excess paste waste, if you get what I'm saying. But all in all, I think it's a pretty good kit for I think it's a 4-gram tube, the spreader, the stencil, and 2 alcohol wipes. It's retailing at $11.99 in the US. And I think I worked that out. That's somewhere around the 9-pound mark. So I think, that could be a pretty good thing that they have going there.
Okay, it's pretty interesting, that one. It probably wouldn't help an experienced tech or something like that, but someone new, it definitely could help them out if they were unsure how much paste to put on there. I know the basic rule's a little blob of paste basically in the middle, no bigger than a pea, but some people still manage to mess that up, so that's pretty good. Let me first of all say hi to some of the people who are watching at the moment. We've got Robert and Kieran, as well as Peter, all on the Tech for Tech group, as well as TechWise 2203, Frosty Tunes, and an unknown user as well who's on YouTube. So just thank you for watching. We have at the moment on all platforms around about 140 people watching us at the moment. So just to scare you all.
No pressure.
Basically, my news or advice for the day would be basically there's going to be some new power supplies possibly coming out in the future, which is going to basically tip the market upside down and make things even more difficult for us as techs. Basically, what they're going to be doing is they're going to be replacing the 24-pin connector, which is the main one that goes into your motherboard, with a 10-pin connector, and it'll also have a 6-pin connector. And what they're doing is basically making the power supply completely the same voltage all the way across. So you don't have to have different voltages like 3 volts, 5 volts, 9 volts, whatever it may be, all the way through the power supply. It's all going to stay as one voltage. But that's going to potentially cause issues, because obviously it means you've got to have different power supplies to fit different motherboards and so forth. But some of the things, what they are doing with it, for example, let's say you've got a solid state drive, a traditional 2.5-inch one, or a hard drive or something like that. Most of these things will run on 5 volts. So the power supply is going to be running at a specific voltage. I think that a little bit up and down what the exact voltage is going to exactly be yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be something pretty standard. And if you want to connect or power a hard drive or solid state drive or anything externally, you actually have a power cable going from the motherboard. So all the power conversion to the parts will be going through the motherboard instead. So a bit like you get on a laptop in all reality, where all the power comes from the motherboard and stuff like that. So it could make things a little bit complicated for us. It's going to start off firstly on like the mainstream system integrators first, so you probably see it on Dell machines, HPs, and stuff like that. But then again, it could completely fail. It might not take off and basically be a waste of time. And I've just basically rambled the last few minutes because it's not going to happen. But potentially it could, and if it does, it could make quite a few issues for techs, because instead of carrying one power supply around, you've got to carry two around, or multiple to fit different voltages or different boards which haven't got the same connectors anymore. There we go.
Interesting.
Another one is an interesting advert I've seen on TV at the moment from PC World, of all people. It shows basically a woman holding a HP laptop, of all laptops, around, and she's carrying it around. She's making a cup of coffee while she's got the laptop in her hand, walking around and so forth. Basically all the things we tell advertising. You can imagine someone going back to them and it's like, oh, I was making a cup of coffee like you were on the advert, and suddenly it doesn't work anymore.
She even sits at her laptop drinking. Another sin that we tell them not to do. So
they'll come to us to get it repaired or something. Well done, PC World. You're giving to us again. Thanks.
yeah, they're great for my business. They treat me so much.
That's true. We do get a lot of customers directly from PC World as well, don't we? Because they PC World can't get it repaired, or it's going to be, what, 3, 4, 5 weeks before they can even look at it, because they have to send it off. Usually to Ireland. It's not going to you, is it, Cormac?
Don't blame me for anything to do with PC World. You're after getting personal there, no, you know. No. And we all get sued by PC World. But anyway, you know, yeah, no, nothing to do with us, you know. And I just forgot to add one thing too about if you're going for those reviews as well, is send an email, you know, thanking them, asking them about, you know, whatever, say, and at the end have a clickable link to your review page. That's because how many times have we left a restaurant and went, wow, that's really nice, let's leave a review, and then forget about it when you get home, you know. So that's, yeah.
On the Google app, you even have an option to send a text. So that's what I normally use. I just go into the Google My Business, and where you have your reviews, you have an option to share, basically to ask for a review, and it asks you if you want to send by WhatsApp.
Oh, you just gave us gold. Wow.
Yeah, and it writes it everything. So you basically just have to select a contact.
Wow.
Oh, that's pretty good. I don't think I've come across that bit myself. Have you seen that one, Joe?
No.
Well, at least on iPhone.
Look for it though.
No, an iPhone, Android.
You still got potato phones
Yeah.
over in Ireland, have you?
So I don't know if you can really see. Can you?
A little bit, yeah.
So as you go to where you have your reviews,
Yeah.
you have on the top corner to share, and then it asks you. So if you select by message,
you can basically send them. That's brilliant.
Right, that's neat.
You have to check that. Thanks.
Either new or I've not seen it before. One or the other. I don't
Either
know.
way, we've learned something. So
Yeah, it is. You were mentioning, Bruno, about a website, a local website. What was that called again?
yeah, it's called Nextdoor. So let's see, I don't know if I can put it here, because it's a pretty big screen to kind of show, but it's a pretty basic platform, like very, very basic. You can make posts, you can post an image, and if you have a business profile, it will look exactly like this. So you have your old posts, you have basically your content, it shows your reputation, how many people actually press that they like the business. You have neighbor comments. So basically, it's almost like a neighbor type of social network where if you're paying for the, let me just double check. So if you're paying for the content, which I paid and it kind of paid off, it's called Create a Local Deal. And then you have quite a, well, you have a fixed discount, buy one, get one free, custom deal, and a % off. So now we go for the custom one. Then you have to put the title, the description, exactly like Facebook. And then it asks you, what is the duration? You want 7 days, 14 days, 13 days? Is this deal online or in person? what action do you want? Do you want them to call the business? Do you want them to send a message? It gives you a few options. And as you go through it, let me see if I can just go to the next screen. Just write something random. It basically shows you the locations around you. I just have to select a picture now. And I think it's gonna. No, it didn't.
Don't worry if it's not doing it.
So the picture needs to be in a certain style, and then it basically asks you to what neighborhoods. So you can select all the neighborhoods in, let's say, 2 miles from here. You can select in 5 miles, but there's a limit. I think the limit is going to be around 5-6 miles, something like that. And then it tells you how many people are registered in the website. So for example, it appears you saying there's 2,788 neighbors that is going to reach, or whatever it is. And you can select. So for example, if there's an area that you don't like to serve, or you don't like to drive there, or it's too far, or whatever, you can just take it out of the list that you're advertising and put all the other ones around. And yeah, it was one of my first advertising platforms, and even today I still get people coming that are there because it's a local neighborhood, really. And the same way that these days you have groups about where you live, about the location for the neighbors. It's pretty much a social media that just serves for that, really. So it's a bit glitchy because it's very recent, or it's very new, but it works. And yeah, give it a try.
That's pretty good. I'm going to say I've not heard of that one at all, to be honest with you. So I'll definitely be looking into that one. So
Yeah.
It's ideal that it's just pinpointed to your location, so you don't have to worry about obviously advertising to the whole of Facebook when really you only want, if you've got a small store, or you're a call out tech, or you work from home, obviously you really want to be advertising to your local customers.
Yeah, and it's a free platform, really. So if you're advertising for a certain amount that is quite big, then you have to pay depending on how many neighborhoods you choose. But it's a free platform. I think, if I'm not mistaken, when you register, it asks you to put your address, and they send a letter to your address to make sure that basically you are the person and you live where you say.
Like Google do.
But yeah, like Google does the verification.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. One of the things I always impressed with Colmac, of the way he gets businesses, is on his Facebook with some of his posts and his information he does. He always seems to be the first one to comment on about a news story or whatever and turn it into an advertising pitch. Current ones, I've seen, like, you do the Donald Trump one and so forth. And so forth. You see, how do you get the inspiration to do all this?
You know something? Facebook for me has built my business. We'll have people who will argue about Facebook, but Facebook will build. To me, if done right, Facebook will just blow everything away. But see, a lot of the way I'm looking at it, computer posts aren't interesting. No normal person out there knows anything about HDDs are faster than SSDs, okay? They just don't, and then people are after, and it's just boring for them, you know? So I went down a different route, and I decided, like, any sponsored post I put out, or anything I put out, is by Crosshaven Computers. That's what we do, it's in our name. So I tend not to go near politics in general, but Trump, just you have to give because it's fun. But in general, I put up posts, and my posts will have nothing in general to do with computers, you know, but they'll be what I regard as funny. I'll aim for them because it's more to get your brand out there, your name out there. So if they do go to Google, they'll see what. I'll tell you a nice one I done as I cheese off the entire English crowd there now with this one, but don't worry, folks. It's not bad. It was during the World Cup, or they won the last tournaments. I don't know much about soccer, so I apologize about this, okay? But England were playing, you know, and I said, I think we'll have a bit of fun with this one, you know. And I lived in England for years, all right, so I love England, but I still have to have a bit of fun. So what I done with that one, I had a picture of, I don't even know who the goalkeeper is, Hart, it was Hart, I think it was in goal at the time. And I got a picture of him, Google image or whatever, where I got the picture, and it was him down on his hands and knees after the ball went into the net, you know. So I was waiting, I sat on that and I had it ready, okay. So England got to the semi-finals, was it, I think? And they lost in a penalty shootout, okay? So as soon as they lost, that's the beauty about Facebook, as soon as they lost, I put up a picture of Hart crying on the soccer pitch, and underneath I was like, having trouble saving, you can always save money at cross-saving computers. Now that went out, and you were just fingering the pulse, it went out. People are just turning off they match because and next minute they're seeing this post and they're sharing this post and this and that. Now that had nothing to do with computers, nothing at all. But what it did do was get my name out there. So like I'm after getting fairly well known, and I put myself into the ads as well. Believe it or not, my ego lets me do that. But I put myself into my ads. I'm very much centered at this present moment in time on local businesses. With what's going on around the world, okay, people actually want to support local businesses more so than ever before. They will make the effort. We don't want to see where you walk down your high street, you walk down wherever you walk down, you're seeing businesses close. You know the struggle it is to run businesses. We all want. It's like where never before has there been so much unity about wanting local businesses to survive. So I have no problem putting my face in videos or on Facebook and putting it out so people recognize that this is a fellow person around here. We're not a nameless company. So I'm very well known around the area for this, because I want people to know, yeah, there's a person we can trust, there's a local business. That's what. So that's the power of Facebook if done properly. And see, I think a lot of people who have tried Facebook has said it's not working, but they'll do an ad and not get any results in the week. You have to think long term. You have to think about it's not about getting customers this week. It's about getting customers in a few months' time, maybe. It's about when the customers sit down and they kind of go to Google, they look at a few shops in the area or whatever, people working wherever, a few websites, and they'll write, whoa, we recognize that. To recognize it from Facebook, like everyone going in, they're queuing in the bank, they're looking at the phone, it's Facebook or Instagram. That's what they're looking at. That's it. We even done some TikToks and threw them up on Facebook. But it's all about brand, building your brand, rather than going for a direct sale. That's how Facebook, and I appreciate that. Thanks what you said about Facebook, about it, Phil, there. But that's where it's all at for me. And I think we should all be pushing ourselves or something like that we're local. There's no better time at the moment than to push it than that, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, you're putting your face in front of everyone and people get to know you. And believe it or not, your face actually sells your business. I've had a quick look at Bruno's website as well. I noticed there's a picture of him on the front page.
That's your tip.
So there you go. Same with us. Me and Jen, we've got a picture on our website page as well.
So update it.
So basically, people can see who you are and that you're real people. You'd be surprised how many people we get and customers, because A is the reviews, which has been mentioned a couple of times already. But secondly, is people go on the website and they go, oh, look, there's a picture of you on there. You look like a real person, or you look normal. I don't know if I actually do look normal or not, but apparently I look normal. And it seems like the person gets sort of a connection with you and your business because they actually get to see what you're like before they have to come through the door, and sort of they don't know what they're going to expect, or if you're going to them, what they're going to expect when you turn up at their door, sort of thing. They know who to look out for, so it gives them some sort of reassurance in a way.
Yeah, and just for that shop local thing there, I got these business cards there. A friend had designed them. They've done a fantastic job. There. But on them, it's thank you for buying one of our refurbished laptops, blah, 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 and supporting a local business, you know. But I'm going to give those with the laptops, but I'm also going to put one business card and get changed and get it changed again and put one of those back into every laptop when you hand it back. Just saying thank you for supporting a local business, you know, nice flowery one, things like that. And it's I bought something for my sister for her birthday. I forget what it was, some eco tin, but I opened up the package. When I ordered online, opened up the package, and there was a thank you card for supporting a local business. And I went, that's clever and crafty, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
pretty good.
And it makes
I'll
a
be
difference when the customers call in and they say, "Oh, is this Bruno?" instead of, "Hey, is this the computer man?"
yeah,
Makes a massive difference.
It does.
It
I'll be
is.
the first one to endorse business cards. They can be your friend in more ways than one. Let's just say that you've got the happy computer customer at your desk. Oh, I can't thank you enough. Oh, you've saved my neck here. I'm just thrilled to death. I say, here, have a card, take it with you, you know, and here's one for a mate, you know, and if you know anybody who needs a service, just pass that on. They usually say, can I have about 2 more? Because I know some people. And I tell them, take as many as you want. You know, there's Vista Print all day long for business cards. Let them have as many as they want. I even leave my cards at my hairdresser. And there's always a lady or two that's going to come through the door screaming that they can't get on Facebook and stuff like that. And then my dear hairdresser says, I know somebody. Her card is right over here. And presto, I'm gaining a customer. Another thing that I like is flyers if done right. Now, I don't mean putting them through the letterbox because that's off-putting and it makes it look like you're some sort of cheap takeaway. And you don't want that. But let's just say you go to the gym. I used to go to the gym, and when I would get done working out, I'd have the flyers in my bag. And if it was an open locker, I would put the flyer in the open locker and then shut the door. And the next person that comes along, they're going to see Chip's Computers flyers in the lockers. And every time I would go to the gym, I'd do more flyers. And finally, it got back to one of the ladies in the cantina. She said, I hear you do computers. And I was like, yeah, I do. And she even let me leave flyers in the cantina area. So word gets around, and we had a lot of show from flyers and business cards. Like I say, you don't put them through the mailbox. You have to strategically leave them. Even when you do a new build and you give back the motherboard box and you've got the discs and things like that, put a card in or a leaflet or something like that. Always.
That's good ideas there. And just to build on that, when you are building machines and stuff, something, and even visiting customers or repairing the machines or something, it's not really getting you new customers, but it's getting that customer to remember who you are and to give you a call back. Is rather than giving a business card, put a sticker with your phone number on the machine. If it's the bottom top on the printer, you'd be surprised how many people obviously keep that because it's stuck there. Now, often do you find you get a laptop in or something like that, and the person still got the original stickers what are all over the laptop from when they bought it. They very rarely peel them off.
We used to have some really good stickers. We've lost contact with the person that made them, but I want to get some more done soon. We used to have stickers that we would put on the laptops and the machines. And when they were sitting there in the store, they already had our name and phone number on them. So when they walked out the door, just like Phil said, people never peel stickers off. You're lucky if you get the people to peel the plastic off the keyboard in the screen area. You usually see it come back through and it's still got that manky plastic on it and everything. So yeah, our stickers are still coming through the door for us to safely destroy laptops about 10 years later. So
I have another one there, which it works. Back to the restaurant, if you're leaving a review, okay, for the local restaurant or whatever, I use G Suite, okay, but obviously I have probably a couple of Gmail accounts as well. But I will leave the review, and I'm only leaving a general review if I like the place. You know, I don't leave negative reviews in general anyway. I wouldn't, but I leave the review and say, you know, excellent meal, 5 stars, whatever, etc., etc. But the review name is Cross-Haven Computers. You know, so you're getting your name out there as well. You're also getting a local business who's kind of saying, who's always leaving a review, and next minute Cross-Haven Computers. Now every single business has computers inside there. Like to me, that has to be, you know. So yeah, I don't know if it's working or not, but leave it away, you know. So yeah.
You're getting your name out there one way or another, aren't you?
Yeah.
So even if it's just one
Ruthless
person.
we are. Ruthless.
now back to Facebook. I like Facebook for numerous things. Tech for Techs. But also Chip's benefits from Facebook. You would be amazed at some of the things that I can post and get a response. If I see a dodgy scam going on, or even Chips has scammers calling it, you can say, hello, Chips Computers, and they think they can scam you on Amazon or something like that. It's not really Amazon, but they say it is. And I just make a post, well, the scammers are in full swing today. And you'll get a response instantly. About 2 or 3 people will like up instantly. Thanks for letting me know this. Also, another thing to do is when you have a product that you know everybody needs, and right now the big thing is webcams, because we're working from home and we want to stay in touch with families, etc. When you get that product in, take a picture of it, post it on Facebook. If the person seeing it doesn't need it, it will at least be liked on or possibly shared. And you're going to get people calling you for that product, I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm. Just heads up on the next door. We've had a few members. One's Alison Cook and from EADR, as well as Kunal. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. It's commenting about Nextdoor, about it being a great place and an actual brilliant form of actually getting customers. I had 1 or 2 people mention that they've had a few issues with it though, so it might be, I think it's fairly new, so there might be 1 or 2 issues there what they need to sort out maybe, but it's worth looking into, that's for sure. So thanks again for these guys for commenting. One of the things I find a good way of getting customers is with local groups. And when I say groups, I don't mean Facebook groups or anything like that. I mean like photography groups, video groups, enthusiast groups, basically. Because a lot of these groups have got usually a few members. And because they've got a few members, they've all generally got computers and so forth. And a lot of times, they're usually more, let's say, elderly customers, so they tend to have more expendable income, so they've got a lot of money to spend, or at least some, because obviously if let's say they're doing it in a photography group or video group, they're going to need a decent machine to do their editing and stuff like that. And the way to get in with these groups is usually just look up. You can find them usually on Google, Facebook, even Yellow Pages if you can find one of them around somewhere. And you'll find them usually on there. And what you do is approach them and say, hey, can I do a talk for you? Can I come and give you a presentation to your members about backing up your data or something along that lines? Once you're in the door, you can obviously give them discounts if you really want to. I've never done that, but you can do to entice them. But once you get one of them on your side, it doesn't take long for your name to go all the way around there. And these people generally want to spend a good amount of money on their equipment.
Yeah, the groups, the groups. I started going into groups because I saw one of your videos actually, Phil, mentioning about the groups, and one of the things that I noticed, I moved to a new build recently. I don't know if this is a new thing where they call when they're doing these new build type of allotments, they give it a specific name. But for example, I noticed or I found on Facebook that I'm not going to say the name, but let's say St. John's, yeah. So there was a group called St. John's Place, yeah, and I fixed the computer from one of my neighbors, and since then, like if anyone posts in that neighborhood group saying, oh, someone, and does anyone have this or that, or do they tend to share a lot, and after what I saw from Phil's videos talking about the groups. I started exploring these and trying to join a few different neighborhoods and kind of the sneaky advertising there every now and then. And one of my friends actually posted like almost like a review in one of his groups from where he lives, and I wasn't in that group. And I started getting calls from that area saying, "Oh, we got these from this and this group, and we would like you to have a look at our computer if that's okay." I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah.
Another thing that Phil and I did in the beginning when we first opened the store, we had a very tight budget, so we had to make it stretch. Well, we approached the church about having a small ad in their parish magazine. All right. Now that parish magazine gets around, I'm here to tell you, it's not just to the members, because the members, they read it. And then they'll pass it on to friends and things like that. I can't tell you how many customers we've gotten out of a parish magazine, and it's fairly cheap most of the time. I mean, seriously, you talk about value for money, that's where it is right there. Your little parish magazines, they are a gem.
Yeah, that's true. The parish magazines have done us quite well over the years, and obviously it doesn't have to be obviously any specific religion. They've all probably got different types of magazines, even websites and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think it costs us about £100 for a year to go out on there. I think they do one every other month. Is it bi-monthly or is it quarterly?
They used to do one a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then it cut back, and I think it's quarterly right now.
Yeah, but even if they've only got 50 people reading it, we've got 50 customers coming from them. It's as if, I hate to say it, but it's when you're in a magazine like that, it's as if you've actually been approved by that organisation. So sorry to do sort of a Blues Brothers type quote, but it looks like you're approved by God. I know it sounds a bit daft, but what you find is they're in there, and I get customers come up to it. It's like you're in the parish magazine, which is published by the church, and if you're in there, you must be all right.
Okay? They tend to trust you.
Yeah,
they tend to trust you if you're in the magazine.
That's true, and they do trust you, and we get no end of work from those magazines, to be honest with you.
And like Bruno mentioned at the start as well, just we're watching the time there. It's interesting that we all spoke there and no one spoke about Google AdWords besides Bruno there saying, and maybe he'd like to tell us his experience on it. My own, I actually listened to Bruno and see what he.
Yeah, so since I started trading, actually when I started trading, I found the Tech for Tech groups. Thank God. And one of the things that I asked advice from everyone from the beginning is where to advertise, because it's so confusing. There's so many places, so many things, so many different prices. It's a bit confusing. So before I actually got the advice from everyone, I went with Yale and I did a year contract, and it was working all right in the beginning with Yale. I got enough revenue to kind of pay for it, if that makes sense, or to justify having it. At this moment, it hasn't been generating any revenue for a few months, the Yale advert. So I decided last month to give a go to Google Ads. For me, again, didn't work. Maybe for other people will. Same thing with Microsoft Ads, but Microsoft Ads are quite cheap anyway compared to Google Ads. So, you know, it's a question, it's just trying, isn't it? And see what it works and what it doesn't. The Nextdoor worked for me. The Yell worked for me for a certain amount of time, while everyone was saying that Yell didn't work for them. Well, now it doesn't work for me, but it worked for a certain amount of time. But yeah, it's kind of giving it a try and see what it works and stick to it and keep trying.
Yeah, it's the same for any of this advice we're giving out. It may work for you, it may not. Everyone's different. You're all in different areas. Some towns have more monies to spend than others, so they're going to go for more different types of things. So you just want to bear in mind everything we're saying. It may or may not work for you. You need to try it, obviously, at your own expense.
But Phil, on that, that's a very great point there, is that I started this business with no money, and a lot of us, I think we mentioned we didn't. So, but for people who are maybe in the position now to spend more money, whatever, one last thing I would give, which is I think it's very good advice, is that if you decide not to do the social media or stuff yourself, and if you want to farm it out to social media agencies, frankly, I think 90% of them are complete and utter crap, posting the same generic stuff. I mean, but I do it for some companies, and it can pay well and this and that. But point being is that at the very least, what you should do is do a social media course. I don't want myself. So first of all, it's great for learning how they all work. Now it's my passions. I just love listening to how they all work anyway. But the other point is that even if you decide not to do it yourself, you might be saying, right, I know what to do, but I'm not good at it. At least you will know what they're spending the money on. Because I've walked into companies and they've said, oh, we're spending 500 quid on with a social media company. And I said, what are you getting for that? Oh, they're doing the Facebook, they're doing the Twitter, and they're doing the Google. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but what are they doing on those things? And I'm looking, and they're going to, like, so at least you will know where your money is going, you know? Twitter never worked for me. I had one Twitter customer in all my years. Never works. But maybe, but definitely do a social media course. Without a doubt, you can do a night course over 8 weeks. At least you'll be spending your money. You'll know how to target the areas, what your budget is, and it'll save you a fortune in the long run. And when I done my social media course, I sat down, and there was, like, we'll say 16 people in the class. It was a local area. And the teacher, Veronica, goes, right, class, bring in your computers next week. And I just went, cha-ching, there's 15 customers for me right off the bat.
Yeah.
You know? So, there, that's my Irish words of wisdom.
It's easy to be overcharged for those services as well, because most of the time they're making one post and they're just taking it and posting it to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever else you may be on, and their job is done. Boom. You can even use little programs to spam it out there all at one go, where you just one click it. So it's easy to be ripped off by these companies. I'm going to give you some tips of what not to do that I have found. One of them is using the word cheap. You do not want to use the word cheap. Oh, I'm cheaper. You don't want to say that. And you don't want to say, oh, we're real cheap here. No, because it makes you sound like a pound store. Oh, that's real cheap. It insinuates your product is not as good either when you say cheap. When I hear cheap, I think of going to a charity shop versus going to some really quality store and buying the same garment. All right, it may be a blouse in both stores, but I'm going to wear it for longer if I buy the better one at the better store, right? Because it's going to last longer. So don't use the word cheap. If you're going to be known for something, you want to be known as value for money. I always tell people when they want, can you do it for the price of Amazon? No. And I make no bones about it. No, I cannot match Amazon's prices. However, I can give you something they can't. I can give you customer service. When you have a problem with that, you bring it straight to me. I'll rectify the problem. You don't need to take care of your RMAs for your parts because I'm going to do that. And in the meantime, you're going to have less downtime because I'm going to be fixing it while we're RMAing products. And you won't have to wait 2 months like you do at PC World and things like that. I'm going to take care of it because your downtime is mine. It's my reputation that I'm selling you. And on every computer, I offer 3-year parts warranty for towers and 18 months for my custom built laptops. And I'll tell them why. Because I believe in myself. I believe in my product and I know it. And if I know it and trust it, that's me, what I have to give you for my price. It may be a little bit dearer, but that's value for money and customer service that I can give you, whereas they can't. And you'll beat them every time on that, every time.
That's pretty good. Can I just stop you there just 1 sec, Jen, if you don't mind, just to reply to Daniel on YouTube. Hi, Daniel. Probably have met you at Cedar Court before at Target Open Days. If you're interested in joining Tech for Techs, which is a free group, just go to www.techfortechs.co.uk. Look for this logo, what's behind me here. Then you'll know you're at the right website. And then at the top, on the bar at the top, you'll say become a member. If you want to join up, feel free. It's totally free. You'll join over 970 other UK members, as well as vendors and distributors. Feel free to join us. Again, any techs but want to join, not just Daniel, feel free. And that's to Daniel, who is watching us on YouTube. Okay, if you want to carry on, Jen, sorry for that.
No. I was just winding down on why not to use the word cheap, because it comes across as nasty, and you don't want to be known as that.
That's good. Has anyone else got any more advice or ideas?
That's about it, I say. Be honest. That's the last thing. Be honest, and be honest with everyone. We had when my tech was working started. There was one thing we were adamant about: you charge and treat everyone like they're your own mother, in the sense that honesty will get you more customers than anything else. Anything, honesty, trust will get you more, and that's religiously across the board here. That's the way we do it.
Absolutely.
It's just transparency, isn't it?
Yeah.
When the customer just has that feeling that you're hiding something, they just don't connect with you. I'm open about everything to my customers. If my customer asks me how much do I buy something for, I'll tell them I buy this for this price and I charge this on top. Because in the end, they're just people like you. The more lies or the more you hide from them, the worse it is for yourself. So, and in the end, everyone has a job. Everyone knows that, yes, I'm selling you a hard drive or a computer, but in the end, I need to pay my rent in the end of the month. I can't just be giving you this at the price that I buy.
Yeah, we call that transparency.
Yeah.
The more transparent you are, the more they will appreciate you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And this goes for vendors and specific distributors, which we mentioned last week, having issues and not letting customers know exactly what's wrong and so forth. No names mentioned, VIP. But anyway, I think we've probably done as much as we can for this show. We're coming up to an hour now. Unless anyone's got any final thoughts or anything, we'll end the show in a few seconds.
Quick one. The time you turn the things down, that was the wrong wording. I mean, the turnaround time makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Customers I get, I'm the type of person that if I get something until I get that something done, my head doesn't rest. So my turnarounds tend to be quite quick. And I get a lot of customers that come by reference because they're working from home and they need a computer the next day. And I heard that you did this and that and it was ready the next day and blah, blah, blah. So it makes a difference as well. And of course,
It
it will
does.
help your reviews, and your reviews will bring you even more customers.
And if your bench is full and they're coming in saying, oh my gosh, I need it bad, I really do need this, tell them that your bench is full, but you will get to it as soon as humanly possible. And they may sigh and say, yeah, well, all right, well, I'd appreciate it if you can look at it as soon as possible. Or they might even be willing to say, pay a priority to jump the queue. So if you offer a service like that, that can be invaluable.
It's all transparency, isn't it?
That's it. I'm going to say it's pretty good, that. Again, from YouTube, yes, Daniel, I'll look at your application in a few secs and get you sorted in the group, and I can have a talk with you once I've accepted you and so forth. Again, if anyone's interested in joining Tech for Techs, Tech for Techs is a free tech forum and website where members can talk to each other, ask questions, join in. You don't have to just be a tech. You can be the business owner of a computer store or something along that lines, MSP. You can even be a vendor or distributor. We've got members in there all the way from the likes of Cooler Master to Thermal Take and so forth. So if you need any help and advice from the group, feel free to join up and obviously ask your questions as you wish. And again, it's totally free. And this is the thing, what a lot of people don't get is we do not charge you. You can join and interact with all these important people, important stores what make millions of pounds every year, to people who are trading out of their own house or even garage or whatever. It doesn't matter what stage you are, we'll give you any advice we can. And so,
and if you're needing distribution, you need a part, you don't know where to source it from, some of the members will be able to direct you to that. They may even have it as well. We have distribution like CMS, we have Target, VIP. I think we've just had another one join up with us, and I'm trying to think who it was.
We've got members from Spire in there as well.
Yeah, there's Spire.
Terror as well.
Terror, that's the one that I was trying to think of. So yeah, there is a very wide range of people that you can source out your parts from.
Yeah, and even companies what own a lot of the tech tools you use in your trade are also in the group. Okay, so right, guys, we're going to call it for the night. I hope you enjoyed watching. We will be on again next week, next Thursday. This time it's going to be more of a vendor interview with AeroCool. We'll be talking about cases. So if you are interested, please join us next week at roughly 8 o'clock. Thanks again for watching.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.